Hey, this is Hex from the Overwatch League. This is in my sights. Today is the day I've been waiting for. We're gonna watch Tracer, and what a better Tracer to watch than Yaki of the Florida Mayhem. A lot of great choices for Tracer from our May Melee weekend, but Yaki had one of the all-time great series. You could have picked any map here. I chose Busan because I think you can play Tracer on any control map and play her effectively. We're gonna see just exactly what he's able to pull off here. The things you want to do on Tracer, don't die, so manage your cooldowns. The threat of a Tracer is much more important than actually playing it to the edge. Do intelligent dueling, make sure you're picking one-on-ones and they don't turn into two-on-ones, and listen to the game, both figuratively and literally. So early on here, he gets blocked off, tries to break a pillar, and now he knows that he can go to the back line, but he's always looking for Carpe, because Carpe's on this Widow, so he's just doing angles. But one of the things I really noticed early on, and we'll see this throughout the series, is that he will play just a ground Tracer with his team on the front line, crack shields, gets isolated here, but pack control is really important as a Tracer. Be around those packs, use your mobility, and they're drawn in here long enough that the rest of his team's able to come in and clean up this fight. No individual kills so far from Yaki, but it's really interesting that he's able to get a lot done. Forces the team into the coalescence. This May's got no chance. Not an Ice Cube's chance in hell. I would have pulse bombed there because it's May, eat it. But he waits for his team. Much more intelligent play from Yaki. And just completely shuts down that push. They're already at 30% here, and now with control of the map, they don't need the Tracer to be hanging around, so he's going to be taking different paths to make sure where the other team's coming from, to try to find where the other team's coming from, and he plays enough Tracer to know that's where Carpe is going to be. Watch how he tries to finish with Blink Melees. It's really important to cycle in Blink Melees on a Tracer. That Carpe's, maybe Carpe's here. Just completely shutting down Carpe. Who knows what's going on in the rest of the map? It's just a cat and mouse, or mouse and mouse duel here between the Tracers. Feels confident in the rest of his team. Carpe can't find an entry anywhere. Yaki's gonna shut him down, and Yaki's got his recall up, so he's always safe in that duel. You want to use your recall second if you're dueling Tracer to Tracer. Yaki also has the benefit of a Brigida on his team, so he's got 200 HP with the armor on top. You don't need healing, Yaki. You need an armor pack. That's fine. Sees the team here, and he does a little poke. Some Tracers would have gone for the big pulse bomb, but he's just going to wait in the back line. You're almost never winning that duel unless you can pulse bomb this. He thinks that Moira is going to keep going forwards. The pulse bomb eventually misses. The Philadelphia Fusion have thrown everything that they have into this fight because they had to, so it's generally a fight you're going to lose. Trying to get some ultimate charge here, maybe you get a couple pickoffs, and if you can get everybody low, then Tracer can... Well, Tracer's one of the only heroes I feel can 1v6. If people are low and there's no healing, then maybe. But generally, you're not going to win that fight. Now he's just hanging out. This is where he's listening to the game. You're going to see a lot of crouch walking, too, to minimize his noise impact as he moves throughout the maps. As he moves throughout the stages of Busan. Also, is Tracer a really good scout? See the crouch walking? They're not sure that he's here. Announces himself with the healing. Trying to crack shields early on, but they lose fate in this duel. I mean, just look how much frontline he plays. He's not always just trying to blink to the back line and get these supports. That's kind of what I mean about listening to the game. Take the opportunities that present themselves to you as Tracer. Don't force yourself into, a square peg into a round hole. Tracer has a versatile kit. Obviously, you want to be in the back lines assassinating, making big plays if you can, but you wait for him. Patience is a virtue. Ends up in this duel with Carpe, and then he doesn't know that Funny Astro is around to help him out. So a lot of these times when he's in these duels, and when you see the few deaths that Yaki has on these maps, it's thinking he's in 1v1 and then being wrong about it. It's a good stick to open it up. His team gets walled off, but he's already eliminated the May, and that's the entry they needed. The tracking is so good onto the Moira. He does a great job of tracking supports, and there's some of the hardest hitboxes. I knows where Carpe wants to be. Has recall control, able to finish it off. Recall second wins. Thought he was alone. Thought the May was gone. He was incorrect. That's why I would have pulse bombed that Mei earlier. Establish dominance. Perfect situation for a Tracer on the cleanup. There was a later map on Hanamura where he tracked Funny Astro like a god. You could watch any one of his Tracer gameplays, but I think Tracer tips are mostly helpful on control maps because those are the maps where you can 100% run it without getting flamed by your team. And Yaki let the game come to him there. Cracked shields early on, hit a couple nice pulse bombs, dueled out Carpe, so it pretty much shut down Carpe, which is, I think if that's your job and you get it done, I mean, it's not easy to shut down Carpe, and Yaki was able to do it. And he listened to the game. He took what was there. There's going to be a couple times where it's going to be really important to actually listen to the game, because this Tracer is alone all the time. There's not really cross noise that is going to interfere with you. Get a good headset, turn up the volume, and you can find footsteps, you can hear abilities, you just know what's happening if you just actually listen to the game. And it's often why you're going to see Yaki crouching on his rollouts too, so that no one can listen to him. It's game information. So on this stage of Busan, you're going to see Yaki pretty much always on the left side. This is because he knows that's where the Widow wants to be, and they also have an Ashe. So you're trying to just deny this room, deny left side. It also is a great entryway. Everything out on the right side and in the middle of the map is wide open. This allows Yaki just good angles. Carpe is going to do Carpe things. So now Yaki's trying to find a duel and equalize this. It's tough because they're all together, but he ends up getting the Ashe because she doesn't get the healing. God, that's a great noise as a Tracer. A full headshot into Orisa. Sounds like a slot machine jackpot. Just a tough duel. He can't finish off Alarm, and it's not a 1v1 because Alarm gets healed by his other support. So it's a duel that you think you have, and Zenyatta's always looks so tasty as a Tracer, but that one was wrong place, wrong time. But it's also a part of Yaki trying to make a play for his team. They had lost their Zen. He's trying to equalize. He's trying to win fights, trying to make plays. Left side rollout again. Making sure there's no Widow in there. Using this porthole to check for Widow and Ashe. Sees them on the point instead. I think it's a little miscommunication. You would have loved to hit a stick off of that, but that stick will work just fine as well. Now this is just easy cleanup. He's got everybody. He's not in 1v1s. They're stuck with trying to get him. Just Sigma on the point. You could probably even vacate this area right now if you're Tracer. A little flex rewind. Not sure what that recall was all about. So he can hear Widow. Here's the Widow voice line. Can hear Ashe pumping away. So he knows they're rolling out now. As the noises get closer, he knows they're coming out, and this is the perfect time for him to go in. Just hasn't been able to one-clip these ends. And now all the hard work that he had, getting back here, just ruined by the Widow infrasight. No more sneaky sneak for Yaki. Just gonna have to fight honestly. And as Tracer, you don't really want to fight honestly. You want to come behind people. You want to get, 2v1s, force bad situations. So this is a duel that he thinks that he should win. But he kind of missed that Alarm was there, and Alarm was probably the best player for the Philadelphia Fusion this weekend. So it's just a duel that he thinks is a 1v1 and not getting it. They're hard 1v1s. Some of these hitboxes are really tough, like trying to go against Moiras and Widows. Not the easiest hitboxes to get in on, but just a misassessment of the situation. Again, left side rollout, checking this room. It's just a really nice sight line. He knows that Carpe just saw him, and now the fear of God being Carpe, is in him. Just gonna wait around. They got two. This is a really nice stick. Doesn't get the kills right away, but it forces Astro into the air. Poco really low. Yaki's not in the kill feed for those, but those are his kills. Oh. Do you think he saw me? I think he saw me. Oh, he saw me. But it's pack control. He's in the room. He's got the pack. Don't have to use recall. Recall's the most valuable ability. You don't want to use it unless you really have to. Trying to check Ivy on the way in, the last thing you want is your back towards the enemy team. So he knows Carpe's up here. Carpe gets the opening shot on BQB. Gets him low, goes for the melee finish. Look, you can't stop Carpe. You can only hope to contain him. For the most part, good containment. But that's Carpe. That's gonna happen. So 99% now. The Florida Mayhem only need one more fight. You see the little jiggling? The little 80-80 strafe? It's to make his hitbox harder to hit in case Carpe pops out. That's what some of this crouching and walking is doing, as well as making sure that his noise isn't there. And he worked so hard to get in this spot, and Carpe just hits infrasight. Yeah, damn it, and you just smash the pot. Now, what are you gonna do? Either you just have to wait out infrasight and never go in, or you have to try to play the angles there. Carpe hits the shots. He gets checked on the way in by Ivy because the infrasight already came up. It's a tough one. Otherwise, are you just supposed to wait out the ultimate? Give them all the free through pushing the worlds? I don't think so. Gets discorded immediately trying to get in. Ends up recalling back here. It's a pulse bomb that on first watch you think like, oh, he should have had that one back. Doesn't matter. It was 99.99. He's got to try to make a play there. You can't take your pulse bombs with you. So a much tougher round for him. Also didn't have the benefit of the Brigitte healing packs. It's so funny to me that Brigitte and Tracer are best friends now because they used to be arch nemesis. As someone who plays a lot of Tracer, Brigitte was the Tracer eraser. Just bash, hit, one-shot whip, and you couldn't do anything. Now you need the Brigitte. She feels like you can duel her too, but getting armor packs is so important. The Florida Mayhem are going to go back to that Brigitte composition here, and Yaki is going to be much happier for it. Decider here on Busan. So here's Tracer. Again, listen to the game. And then he missed the pack. So that's a duel you can't win now. Didn't get pack control, had to use recall, you can't duel this Tracer. So he's trying to get some other work done. Nice halt there, almost gets hit by the hammer swing on the way up. Just trying to get as much done now that he didn't win the duel, didn't win the 1v1. He's gonna look in room and try to take pack control in case a duel happens again. Pack control is there. It's just taking what comes to him. You gotta have Reinhardt? Sure, I'll take him. Not forcing going to the back line, not forcing chases, because Philadelphia just takes two people out of the fight, puts them on the point, and they will be dispatched with relative ease. Now in a fine spot. A lot of Tracers, I think, too, would try to go set up for an enormous pulse bomb. And when I say a lot of Tracers, I mean my feeding Tracer would go to try to set up for an enormous pulse bomb, but he just playing with the team, playing in the wheelhouse here. That's a tough one. You're kind of forced to do that pulse bomb because the halt comes in. Pulse bomb is much more expendable than other ultimates anyway, but it just gets eaten up. But imagine if it didn't, though. He's blinking around the back, no one's really looking at him, so he's gonna recall to get the health back, and now he's in position, and he's been whittling down these tanks. And yes, he will die for it. Got hit by an icicle in the dome. If you want to try that at home, go to your freezer, take out a popsicle, and just start mowing on it with your teeth. Ugh. But all the damage he did really whittled down the tanks, and the dynamite comes in, so this hasn't been the explosive Tracer is carrying by crushing play, and that's kind of what I wanted to look at. You can see that, and it's really easy to see why that's happening. They're hitting all their clips, they get to the back line, everything. But he's playing Tracer in a way that's checking the other Tracer, he's getting damage on tanks, he is taking what has been given to him, he's doing it with ease. He's also hitting pulse bombs. Good scouting information. Guys, I found him. Just waiting for him. Try to hit a pulse bomb here. I love this pulse bomb. It's my favorite pulse bomb. Capitalizes on them hitting the ground and getting half health on their damage. Also waiting for the beat to maybe dissipate a little bit and just drops it where the Lucio's going to be. The greatest compliment a Tracer can be played. Solo shattered by a Reinhardt. Still lives through it too. Gotta give Chris a ton of credit for a lot of the stuns that he pulled off this game. That's it. Yaki on the cleanup. That's where you want to be. That's it. Florida Mayhem wins. There are flashier Tracer gameplays, and there are flashier maps from Yaki, but he didn't die very often, managed the cooldowns well, was able to duel out Carpe on stage 1, the intelligent dueling. Saw some examples of non-intelligent dueling. You have to be really aware, and by being aware, you listen to the game. It's audio, it's going to help you out a lot Q-wise, and also take what the game gives you. Don't force anything. The game will come to you as Tracer if there's enough constant pressures, enough shield cracks, enough pack control. Yaki, a masterclass in conservative but effective Tracer play.